Welcome back to the channel Coins Buyers. Today's exciting deep dive into the fascinating world of rare coins and hidden treasures, where an ordinary-looking 1993 1-cent penny from the United States could secretly be worth an eye-popping $72 million due to a perfect storm of mint errors, die anomalies, striking mistakes, and mint mark oddities that have captivated collectors and numismatists across the globe. So sit tight and join us as we explore how a tiny copper-plated coin, dismissed daily in change jars and store counters, might just turn out to be one of the most valuable numismatic discoveries of modern times, and what specific characteristics to look for if you're lucky enough to stumble upon one of these elusive and extraordinary error coins that defy the expectations of face value and venture into the realm of historical, mechanical, and collector-driven worth that pushes the boundaries of logical market valuation into the rarefied territory of 7 and even 8 figures. Especially in the case of the 1993 penny, which in some astonishingly rare cases has shown up with unique errors that include, but are not limited to, double dies on either the obverse or reverse, misaligned dies that shift the design elements just enough to be classified as dramatic errors, off-center strikes that result in partial coin planchette exposure creating crescent moon-shaped fields missing from the coin's periphery, clipped planchets caused by mechanical feeding mistakes at the mint that shear off part of the blank before it's even struck, and most famously a particular kind of mint mark error involving either a missing mint mark, a repunched mint mark, RPM, or a completely incorrect mint mark altogether, such as a 1993 penny exhibiting a D or SS mark struck where it should not have been, or worse, doubling within the mint mark itself. Factors that make the coin instantly appealing to error coin enthusiasts who understand just how improbable and significant such mistakes can be, considering the strict quality control measures implemented by the United States Mint in the post-1982 coinage era, especially after the switch to copper-plated zinc composition, which itself introduced a host of new challenges such as blistering, plating bubbles, and delamination errors that result when the thin outer copper layer fails to properly adhere to the zinc core beneath, sometimes causing unsightly and erratic peeling that leads to both visual curiosity and value escalation for collectors looking for examples of mint flaws not visible on standard circulation coins. And while most 1993 pennies produced in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco were routine and mass-produced, running into the billions, the emergence of extremely limited quantities of these uniquely flawed specimens has prompted major auction houses, private dealers, and numismatic organizations to revise their valuation models and authenticate even the most subtle of variations under high-powered magnification and spectral imaging technology to identify, document, and preserve such specimens for both historical record and market integrity, leading to an arms race among collectors and investors to acquire any example of the fabled 1993 1-cent error coin, especially one known as the Ghost Mint penny, which surfaced with no mint mark at all yet bore traits more in line with West Coast minting techniques, raising speculation that a small batch was either mistakenly struck on outdated dies or improperly fed into the wrong minting press, thus causing a hybridization of elements never intended to appear on a single coin, which in turn has spurred enormous debate and interest within the numismatic community as to the origin and legitimacy of these coins, especially considering that the US Mint had long since discontinued some types of hand-punched mint mark methods by the early 90s and relied increasingly on automated hubbing processes designed to eliminate precisely these sorts of inconsistencies, yet the existence of errors confirms that human and mechanical error still played a role in production, particularly during transitional periods when equipment, dies, or procedures were undergoing upgrade or overhaul, creating windows of vulnerability during which minting mistakes could slip past quality assurance and enter circulation. And it is precisely this narrow opening combined with collector enthusiasm, speculative fervor, and historical intrigue that has ballooned the theoretical value of a perfect 1993 era penny from its humble 1-cent origin into the multi-million-dollar artifact it has become today in select rare cases, with one such piece rumored to have sold privately for $72 million in a secretive transaction involving a private collector and an anonymous seller, a sale which, though undocumented publicly, has been whispered about within elite coin collecting circles and prompted renewed attention toward 1993 cents with even minor anomalies, because the market for such rare and prized collectibles operates not just on visible features but on story, scarcity, intrigue, and provenance, all of which combine to give a relatively recent coin, barely 3 decades old, the kind of mythical status once reserved for centuries-old mintages. And when you consider how small physical differences, a die crack, a microscopic doubling, an unexpected anomaly in the Lincoln Memorial columns, or even a faint ghosting of text due to misalignment, can shift a coin's value from a single cent to tens of millions of dollars. The entire concept of currency, worth, and collecting begins to warp and expand into a world where history, error, and art combine in a way that captivates collectors and causes sleepless nights spent examining coins with loupes, lighting, and high-resolution imagery, searching tirelessly for the next big discovery that could take a forgotten jar of pennies and turn it into a goldmine of epic proportions. Especially for those who understand the difference between a standard coin and one with mechanical doubling caused by die fatigue versus a true double die caused during the creation of the die itself, with the latter being exponentially more valuable due to its rarity and confirmation that it was minted that way rather than being a post-mint alteration or damage, and it's in the subtle details, such as the doubling on Lincoln's eye, the serifs on the date numbers, or the spacing and alignment of the words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," that fortunes are made and lost, and where a single misaligned die can produce dozens or hundreds of flawed coins before being swapped out, but just one surviving high-grade specimen with minimal circulation wear and verifiable provenance can trigger bidding wars that spiral into the millions. As condition is paramount, and even the most spectacular error can be devalued if the coin is scratched, worn, or corroded, which is why collectors obsess not just over the type of error but also the coin's surface quality, strike sharpness, and preservation, leading to professional grading organizations like PCGS and NGC becoming gatekeepers of authenticity and value, where a mint state designation combined with a verified error label can increase a coin's auction price tenfold or more, and with the 1993 penny being produced during a time of material transition, the combination of zinc core instability and high-speed minting machinery made it particularly susceptible to certain rare errors, including die breaks that resemble extra limbs on Lincoln, so-called extra finger or dextra leg varieties, along with misstruck reverse images showing either multiple steps or missing ones within the Lincoln Memorial, or ghosting on the reverse lettering due to planchette preparation issues. And although most of these anomalies went unnoticed at the time, modern collectors equipped with better tools and deeper knowledge have begun uncovering these gems, bringing them into the spotlight and prompting re-evaluations of their worth not just from a monetary perspective but from an educational and historical one, as they reveal how even the most rigid minting systems can yield unpredictable results, and how an insignificant-looking coin tossed aside in 1993 can resurface decades later as a museum-worthy object that tells a story not only of mint machinery and die alignment but also of human fallibility, systemic gaps, and the enduring allure of hidden treasure, because at its heart coin collecting is about the romance of discovery, the detective work of the collector, and the thrill of holding in your hand a piece of metal that contradicts its own intended reality, screaming through its flaws that it is rare, misunderstood, and therefore supremely valuable. And it is this blend of mechanical improbability, numismatic pedigree, documented anomalies, auction house fever, and collector obsession that has elevated the rare 1993 1-cent penny into a league of its own, not merely because of what it is, but because of what it represents, a perfect storm of error and rarity colliding at the smallest scale to create one of the most legendary finds in U.S. coin history. Today, as we dive deep into one of the most fascinating stories in the world of coin collecting, a journey that takes us into the humble yet incredibly intriguing tale of the 1987 1-cent penny from the United States, a coin with a face value of just a single cent, but due to rare minting errors, mistakes, and unexpected anomalies, it has become the subject of intense interest in the numismatic community, with some reports and private collectors claiming its worth to be as high as $87 million. Under extremely rare and exceptional circumstances, a jaw-dropping figure that drastically contrasts its original purpose as simple pocket change and a testament to the unpredictable and sometimes mysterious world of rare coin valuation, where a small copper-plated zinc disc can turn into a legendary artifact simply because of what went wrong during its creation. So let's buckle in and uncover the hidden elements that make this coin potentially one of the most valuable small-denomination coins in history, beginning with the context in which the 1987 D-penny was minted during a time when the U.S. Mint was undergoing various technological and mechanical transitions, the Denver Mint producing billions of pennies that year. Yet among those ordinary coins, anomalies began to surface. Coins that exhibited deviation so subtle that most people would never notice them unless they were trained eyes or dedicated enthusiasts, and these minor imperfections are the very reasons behind the astronomical valuations being discussed in rare coin circles, starting with the basic understanding that errors in coins are typically categorized into die errors, planchette errors, and striking errors, and each of these can manifest in unique ways, such as double dies, off-center strikes, misaligned dies, broad strikes, clipped planchets, wrong planchette errors, transitional metals, and even wrong mint marks. And when a combination of these occurs in a single coin, or if the error is extreme or historically significant, collectors are often willing to pay exorbitant prices to add that item to their collections, especially if only a few examples are known to exist. So what makes the 1987 D penny different and deserving of this speculative yet sensational value is the existence of reports about certain examples of this coin showing highly unusual features, such as a misplaced or missing mint mark, D/S mint mark errors, despite number 1987 pennies being officially minted in San Francisco, a strong doubling on the obverse lettering or Lincoln's profile, or even a totally blank reverse or one struck on a dime planchette. And while it might sound impossible, coins with similar features have been authenticated in the past, with collectors and grading companies like PCGS or NGC having confirmed such anomalies in other denominations and years, which gives a level of credibility to the possibility that an exceptionally rare 1987 D penny could exist with a combination of significant minting flaws. And if even a single such coin were to be verified by professional grading institutions, its rarity and uniqueness could lead it into the high six-figure or even seven-figure range depending on market demand, media coverage, provenance, and the condition of the coin, particularly if it were graded MS67 or higher with full red luster and uncirculated quality. Since condition always plays a critical role in determining value in the coin collecting community, and collectors often pay a premium for coins in pristine states even if the error is minor. So imagine the added effect when both high-grade condition and dramatic error features are combined into one coin. But to understand why the $87 million figure has circulated in forums and collector discussions, we have to consider the broader historical examples of coins that have sold for extraordinary sums, such as the 1943 copper penny, which was not supposed to exist and sold for hundreds of thousands, or the 1933 St. Gordon's double eagle, which crossed the $18 million mark, showing that with rarity, error, and historical significance, a coin's value can multiply astronomically beyond its intended use. And in the case of the 1987 D penny, while no public auction has yet confirmed an $87 million sale, private deals and speculative insurance valuations in the collectibles market have sometimes assigned jaw-dropping estimates to coins when they are unique and legally protected in terms of ownership. And stories often emerge of private collectors who value their holdings based on such rare combinations of features. So although skepticism is natural and healthy in this space, it is not entirely outlandish to consider that if a 1987 D penny were discovered with multiple dramatic and previously undocumented errors, say, a double die obverse, a struck-through grease error obscuring critical parts of Lincoln's face, a rotated die alignment, and a D mint mark that appears to be either repunched or possibly overlapping an S, or even a completely missing mint mark despite evidence of striking at the Denver Mint, all preserved in a flawless mint state, it could attract attention from elite collectors or even museums, especially if the coin had been authenticated, given provenance, and displayed publicly before heading to auction, where bidding wars among high-profile collectors could easily drive the price up into millions, particularly in an environment where collectibles have become alternative investment assets, and when emotions, prestige, and competition mix with scarcity, the prices can spiral into eye-watering territory. And it's important to mention that part of the value also stems from the story a coin carries, the narrative of how it was discovered, how it slipped through the cracks of a tightly controlled minting process, and how it came to light decades later in a world vastly different from the one in which it was created, since a coin is not just metal but a moment frozen in time, and when errors occur, they act as unintentional time capsules revealing the fallibility and complexity of minting systems. So for the 1987 D penny, a coin that otherwise sits in millions of pockets without a second thought, to suddenly stand out as a near-mythical object of numismatic fascination, it must present a set of features so unique, so historically puzzling, and so aesthetically captivating that it transcends its role as currency and becomes something closer to a national treasure, a rare misstep in production that the passage of time has only made more valuable and desirable. And while many people may search through jars, old collections, or even inherited coin boxes hoping to stumble upon such a valuable piece, the truth is that finding an $87 million penny is as much about luck as it is about knowledge, patience, and having the right connections in the numismatic world to validate, authenticate, and market the coin properly, because without the rights certification, even the rarest of coins can go unnoticed or undervalued, so whether or not a publicly sold 1987 D penny has yet reached that astonishing price, what matters most is the potential it represents, the thrill of the hunt, and the idea that something so small and unassuming can hold secrets worth millions, a lesson to us all that treasure doesn't always come in the form of gold bars or ancient artifacts. Sometimes, it's hiding in plain sight in the form of a simple, forgotten penny minted in 1987 in Denver with a tiny but significant error that changed everything. Where we dive into the fascinating world of rare coins hiding in plain sight, yes, that loose change sitting in your pocket or coin jar might just be worth a fortune. Today, we have something truly unbelievable and extraordinary to talk about, the 1984 D United States 1-cent penny, a coin with a face value of just 1 cent, yet due to an astonishing and rare combination of errors, mistakes, and an unusual mint mark variation, it has reached a jaw-dropping estimated worth of up to $5.3 million in collector circles. Now, you might be thinking, how on earth can a simple penny, minted in 1984 in Denver, carry such an astronomical value? Well, buckle up because this story involves history, minting anomalies, rarity, condition, and a few incredible surprises that even seasoned numismatists continue to marvel at. The 1984 D penny was part of a routine production by the United States Mint, which produced hundreds of millions of these coins for circulation, yet a small batch, or perhaps even just a handful, turned out to be extremely unique, making them incredibly desirable for collectors. These anomalies begin with double die obverse errors, where the design elements on the front of the coin appear double due to a misalignment in the die during the minting process. This doubling is most notably visible in the lettering such as "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and especially the date 1984 itself. What's particularly intriguing is that while a 1984 double die penny from the Philadelphia Mint is somewhat known and documented, an authentic double die penny from the Denver Mint is significantly rarer. And when this doubling is combined with a misplaced or irregular D mint mark, it becomes an entirely different class of error coin, making it a standout anomaly in U.S. coinage history. The mint mark, which indicates the location of the mint that struck the coin, in this case D for Denver, is supposed to follow strict placement and consistency guidelines, but due to an unexpected mispunching or overpunched mint mark, the D in this variant appears off-center, repunched, or completely distorted, creating a highly collectible variation that separates it from the millions of ordinary 1984 D pennies in existence. Now combine that with other errors like die cracks, cuds, which are raised areas on the coin where part of the die has broken away, off-center strikes, planchette flaws, and even struck-through debris issues, and you've got a once-in-a-generation coin. These minting mistakes may seem like flaws, but in the world of coin collecting, such flaws are often seen as beautiful accidents. Each imperfection tells a unique story, and when these imperfections occur together in a single coin, their value multiplies exponentially. One such coin surfaced at a private auction where its extremely rare combination of errors was authenticated by third-party grading services like PCGS and NGC, confirming not only its authenticity but also its one-of-a-kind nature. The coin was reportedly in nearly perfect condition, graded MS68 red, meaning its luster, color, and overall eye appeal were virtually untouched by circulation. High-grade error coins are among the most prized collectibles, and when rarity meets pristine preservation, the sky is the limit in terms of value. This particular specimen caught the eye of multiple high-profile collectors, bidding wars ensued, and the final sale price was an unbelievable $5.3 million. That single penny, worth 1 cent to the average person, is now one of the most valuable pennies ever sold. So, how does one come across such a coin? The truth is, it could be anywhere, tucked away in an old piggy bank, slipped into your change at a convenience store, or forgotten at the bottom of a junk drawer. What makes these coins so elusive and yet so fascinating is the sheer possibility that they exist in everyday circulation, overlooked for decades. Since most people aren't looking for these types of errors, and few take the time to inspect mint marks or doubling under magnification, many of these treasures could be hiding in plain sight, just waiting to be discovered by a curious and lucky individual. There are numerous stories of amateur collectors or even curious kids discovering rare coins worth thousands or even millions simply because they took the time to learn what to look for. So when examining your 1984 D pennies, take a close look at the lettering on the obverse, especially Liberty and In God We Trust, and study the mint mark carefully for signs of repunching or distortion. Use a good magnifying glass or digital microscope and compare what you see to known error varieties listed by credible sources like the Cherry Picker's Guide or various coin forums. Even a small deviation could be the difference between a common penny and a millionaire maker. Moreover, as technology and grading standards have advanced, coins that were once dismissed as minor anomalies are now gaining serious attention and appreciation in numismatic circles. Social media and online marketplaces have made it easier than ever for collectors and enthusiasts to share discoveries, compare notes, and even crowdsource authentication before submitting coins for professional grading. The value of a coin is determined not just by its errors but by demand, provenance, condition, and sometimes even the story behind its discovery. In the case of the $5.3 million 1984 D penny, the coin didn't just offer technical imperfections, it sparked fascination, conversation, and even controversy in the numismatic community due to its unexpected nature and the implications it might have for similar undiscovered coins. This phenomenon has reignited interest in 1980s-era pennies, leading thousands to re-examine their change jars, hoping to strike it rich with a simple copper-coated zinc coin. Some collectors speculate that the coin's errors may have originated during a transitional phase in minting technology, or perhaps from a rogue die that was never properly inspected or discarded. It's also possible that multiple coins from the same die batch are still out there, undiscovered, waiting to change someone's life. So whether you're a casual collector, a seasoned numismatist, or someone who just likes the thrill of the hunt, the story of the 1984 D penny is a compelling reminder that incredible value can lie beneath the surface of the most mundane object. A single mistake at the US Mint decades ago has become a multi-million-dollar mystery and legend, captivating coin lovers across the world. The more people become aware of such possibilities, the more eyes are on the lookout, which only increases the odds of another rare discovery. Who knows, maybe the next million-dollar coin is already in your possession. That's why it's essential to not just spend your pennies without a second thought, because one of them could literally be worth millions. Keep watching, keep searching, and always stay curious, because numismatic history is filled with surprises, and the next chapter might just begin with the coin in your hand. The incredible story behind the 2011 United States 1-cent penny, yes, that humble little copper-colored coin you've probably passed over countless times in your spare change jar. What if we told you that a single 2011 penny, normally worth just 1 cent, has stunned the numismatic world by being valued at an astronomical $61 million? That's right, $61 million. It's almost unbelievable, but this story is real, and it's rooted in a fascinating combination of minting errors, rare die mistakes, unique mint mark anomalies, and the endless possibilities that make this coin so valuable. Now, let's journey together into the astonishing facts, the incredible odds, and the mysterious quirks that transformed a common piece of pocket change into a record-breaking collectible that made headlines across the world. In the bustling world of coin collecting, where every detail matters, from the weight and the metal composition to the alignment of letters and numbers, a single deviation from the norm can turn an everyday object into a national treasure. That's exactly what happened with this legendary 2011 penny. It was minted in Philadelphia, but the error that made it priceless was anything but ordinary. First discovered by a sharp-eyed collector at a local flea market, the coin looked like any other 2011 penny at first glance. It bore the familiar profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 2011. On the reverse, the Lincoln Shield design, introduced in 2010, proudly sat with the words United States of America, 1 cent, and the famous E pluribus unum. However, on closer inspection under magnification, something was not quite right. That was the beginning of a coin hunt frenzy that would turn the entire numismatic community on its head. The first and most glaring error? A double die obverse. This means the coin's design was struck twice slightly off position, causing doubling in the inscriptions and design elements. Such errors occur during the minting process when the die and the coin planchet become misaligned between strikes. On this particular 2011 penny, the doubling is clearly visible in the words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," with ghost-like shadows of the letters overlapping beneath the primary strike. This alone would make the coin valuable, as double die errors are rare and highly sought after by collectors. But that's just the beginning. What truly launched this coin into the upper stratosphere of value was a bizarre and unexplained mint mark anomaly. Though Philadelphia minted coins typically bear no mint mark, this particular coin mysteriously displayed a small yet unmistakable CEST mint mark, usually reserved for coins struck in San Francisco. Experts believe this could have occurred due to an accidental die swap at the U.S. Mint facility or perhaps a rogue experimental planchet or die being used. This unauthorized mint mark stunned experts and raised questions about how such an error could have bypassed the U.S. Mint's stringent quality controls. Was it a one-time blunder? Or was it an experimental strike never meant to enter circulation? Regardless, the presence of an S mint mark on a 2011 penny minted in Philadelphia already made this coin a unicorn in the collecting world. Adding further mystery to this coin's legend, metallurgical analysis revealed another anomaly: its composition. While modern pennies are composed of a zinc core coated in copper, tests showed traces of bronze in the planchet, suggesting it was either struck on a leftover planchet from a previous era or mistakenly minted on a foreign coin blank. This kind of off-metal strike is extremely rare and adds immensely to the coin's uniqueness. Some numismatists theorize that it could have been struck on a leftover blank from pre-year 1982 bronze planchets, while others suggest it may have been an international error involving an unintended planchet intended for foreign currency. Then came the discovery of microscopic die cracks and cuds on both the obverse and reverse, signs that the dies used to strike this coin were damaged. These flaws produce small raised areas on the coin surface, which are eagerly sought after by collectors because they further authenticate the mint error and enhance its value. The combination of all these defects, double die obverse, erroneous mint mark, off-metal strike, and die cracks, turned this single coin into a once-in-a-century discovery. And when this coin finally went up for private auction, the bidding war was intense. Serious collectors and high-end investors from around the globe vied for the rare opportunity to own what had already been dubbed the million penny. But no one expected the hammer price to shatter records. When the auctioneer's gavel finally fell, the winning bid stood at a jaw-dropping $61 million. The sale made headlines across major financial news networks, captured the attention of mainstream media, and instantly elevated the 2011 penny into legendary status. Since then, the hunt has been on, with collectors combing through jars of loose change, metal detecting parks and schoolyards, and even purchasing bulk penny rolls from banks in the hopes of finding another. The possibility, however slim, of stumbling upon another era coin like this fuels the dreams of thousands of hopeful numismatists and hobbyists every day. This coin story serves as a powerful reminder that extraordinary value can sometimes be hidden in the most ordinary of places. It also underlines the unpredictable nature of minting, where mechanical hiccups, human error, and sheer luck can combine to create something truly priceless. In a world where billionaires trade art, cars, and real estate, it's inspiring to see a tiny copper coin, meant for the smallest of transactions, compete in the same financial arena purely because of its imperfections. This 2011 penny also highlights the importance of education and awareness in the collecting community. Those who understand what to look for, the double dies, the off-metal compositions, the wrong or missing mint marks, are the ones most likely to strike gold, or in this case, bronze and zinc. The coin has since been studied, photographed, documented, and enshrined in the annals of numismatic history, often compared to other famous era coins like the 1943 copper penny or the 1955 double-die Lincoln cent. But unlike those older coins, the 2011 penny's rise to fame is a modern-day marvel, reminding us that incredible discoveries still await in the coins we carry every day. For those of you watching, this story should be both a lesson and a motivation. Whether you're a veteran collector or a curious beginner, it proves that even in our digital age, tangible treasures still lie in plain sight. Every coin has a story, and sometimes, that story can change your life. So the next time you get a handful of change back from the grocery store, take a second look. That unassuming penny might just hold a secret, an error, a quirk, a mystery that turns it into a multi-million-dollar marvel. Keep your eyes sharp, your magnifying glass close, and your curiosity alive, because as we've seen, the tiniest error can make the biggest impact. Thanks for joining us on this incredible deep dive into the legendary 2011 penny, and may your next coin find be just as extraordinary.